BTS News Today. Paris, the city of lights, once again became the center of global attention when the bells of fashion rang louder than usual in the first week of October 2025. Not only because Dior hosted one of the most anticipated fashion shows of the year, but because a name that never fails to shake every public space appeared among the flashing cameras, the cheers of the crowd, and the rhythmic footsteps of models on the runway. That name is Park Jimin, member of BTS, who once again proved himself to be a world icon in art, music, and now fashion. Since early morning, before the Parisian sun fully pierced through the thin fog that lingered in the sky, the Avenue Montaigne area was already filled with thousands of people. Some came from France, others from across the globe, just to make sure they were in the same place, at the same moment, with BTS's Jimin. Signs reading, "Welcome Jimin," the signature purple army flags, and cameras ready to record every second filled the sidewalks. Police and Dior's security team tightened surveillance, knowing the hysteria that always follows whenever the BTS name appears in public. Rumors about Jimin's attendance had already been circulating days earlier. Dior, which has long maintained a close relationship with BTS, deliberately chose not to confirm anything to the public. Yet that silence only became a stronger magnet. Fans knew that if Dior chose silence, then something big must be in the works. Paris Fashion Week is no ordinary event. It is a stage where the history of global fashion is born and immortalized, and Jimin was chosen as the face to inscribe a new chapter in that story. When the black car with tinted windows stopped right in front of the venue, all attention immediately shifted. Camera flashes exploded like fireworks in the midnight sky. Screams mixed with tears filled the air. The car door slowly opened, and that figure finally set foot on the Parisian ground that had long awaited him. Jimin stepped out with calm, elegance, and authority, as if he had been born for this very moment. His appearance was breathtaking. Dior had chosen a custom-made outfit, the only one of its kind in the world, a fusion of classic and modern with futuristic touches. A sharply tailored black jacket, lined with subtle crystal details that glistened with every flash of light, paired with a high-collared white shirt that amplified an aristocratic aura. His hair was styled softly, slightly messy, yet perfectly framing his features. His thin lips curved into a small smile, just enough to make the fans across the barricade scream in hysteria. But what truly made hearts race was not only the outfit or the smile, but the way Jimin walked down the red carpet. He didn't simply take steps. He seemed to dance with every movement. One hand waved lightly, occasionally bowing in respect to the audience, and his charismatic gaze swept through the room. Fashion editors, international journalists, even world-class guests fell silent, as if forgetting they had come for a fashion show. That night, the stage belonged to one person, Park Jimin. The full fan cam of that moment spread instantly across all social platforms. Within minutes, hashtags like hashtag Jimin in Paris, hashtag Dior Jimin, and hashtag Paris Fashion Week 2025 dominated global trending topics. A 30-second video showing Jimin stepping out of the car and walking the carpet surpassed millions of views in under an hour. Armies who couldn't be in Paris felt as though they were right there, screaming alongside the crowd, crying at the pride of seeing their star standing shoulder to shoulder with the icons of world fashion. There was something unique about that night. Fans didn't just see Jimin as a K-pop star, but as a global representative carrying Asian culture into the heart of European fashion. He walked not only for himself, but as a living testament of BTS's long journey that started from a small room in Seoul. Now, Jimin was in Paris, standing on Dior's red carpet, and the world was witnessing history rewriting itself. Fashion observers whispered, calling Jimin's appearance a new turning point for Dior. This isn't just about clothing. This is about how a legendary fashion house connects itself with the voice of an era, said a fashion critic from Vogue. Jimin is the face of a new generation. He's not just beautiful or charismatic. He has a story, a depth, and a magnetism that no fashion theory can ever explain. Inside the venue, the atmosphere was just as electrifying. Jimin sat in the front row, side by side with Hollywood stars, famous designers, and even European royals. Yet, strangely, camera lenses couldn't leave him. Every time the screen captured Jimin, cheers from outside echoed, proving that even thick walls couldn't hold back the army's spirit. Jimin looked focused, carefully observing each collection on the runway. Occasionally, he leaned in to speak briefly with the guest beside him, but more often he simply smiled softly, applauding elegantly. Every gesture was recorded, every detail of his face captured, every breath seemingly part of the performance itself. When the show ended, another surprise unfolded. Jimin was called to join Dior's lead designer on stage. The atmosphere erupted. No one expected Dior to honor an Asian artist in such a way. When the microphone was handed to him, Jimin spoke in a soft yet clear voice, fluent in English, adding occasional greetings in French that made the audience cheer with admiration. "I feel so honored to be here tonight. Paris has always been a dream city for many, and standing on Dior's stage is something I could hardly have imagined just a few years ago. Thank you for welcoming me, and I hope fashion will continue to be a bridge that unites us all, without borders, without distance." That brief speech worked like a spell. International media outlets immediately replayed Jimin's words. From the New York Times to Le Monde, from Elle to Harper's Bazaar, his statement became a headline. Within hours, Jimin's name wasn't only trending online, but dominated front pages of print and digital media alike. Outside the building, though the night grew late, thousands of fans remained. They hoped to see Jimin once more before he returned to his car. And when he finally emerged, waving with a warm smile, the crowd broke into tears again. Many knelt, many screamed, and others simply stood still, trying to imprint that moment in their hearts forever. That night, Paris was no longer just about fashion. It was about love, pride, and how one figure could bind millions of hearts in the same space. Jimin didn't just attend a fashion show, he created a new legend. Even after he flew out of Paris, his presence never truly faded. Fans replayed the fan cams over and over, analyzing them frame by frame, zooming in to see the details of his smile, his gaze, even the smallest steps he took on the red carpet. Some wrote poems, some painted, others wrote long stories about that moment. Jimin was no longer just an artist who came and left. He had become a symbol living in the world's collective memory. And amid all the glitter, one question echoed. Was this only the beginning of something bigger? Would Jimin soon be announced as Dior's official global ambassador? Was a new collaboration quietly being prepared? No one knew for sure, but one thing was clear. Every time Jimin takes a step, the world stops to watch. Paris Fashion Week 2025 will be remembered for many things. Dior's spectacular collection, the city's shining lights, and the global guests who came. But above all, it will be remembered as the night when BTS's Jimin arrived, walked the red carpet, and changed everything. Paris always knows how to light not just its streets, but also the hearts of millions awaiting a moment. That night, Avenue Montaigne seemed to tremble, as if its centuries-old walls were witnesses to a moment etched into history. Not merely a fashion show, but a convergence of art, music, and fashion, bridged by one name: Park Jimin. The moment the black car door opened, time seemed to stop. Cameras captured every second, unwilling to miss even a single move. The roar of fans pierced the air, creating an atmosphere unlike any other fashion event. Usually, Hollywood stars, supermodels, or legendary designers took center stage. But that night, all eyes were on a figure from Seoul, who, over the past decade, had reshaped the global music landscape and was now ready to leave his mark on fashion.